So we're here with a special 3-minute video. We're gonna do a little throwback. Anybody know this guy here? The one, the only, Dave Siekman, who went onto the agency side. So we thought it'd be fun to bring him back for a little bit so he can speak on how things are going, on the very, very front lines of what he's doing with the agency he works with. So Dave, welcome back.
Thank you. Great to see you, Cal.
So Dave, how are you guys handling COVID? What's going on the front lines of what you guys got going on? And then we're going to kind of talk about our biggest tip of the day, which is the 60 seconds of COVID comments. So tell us, give us the update. Where you been? What have you been doing?
Sure. So I'm up here working for a local independent agency up here in Massachusetts, running personal lines and marketing. So it has been obviously for us very similar to what everyone else is going through. We were lucky enough that we started doing work at home. All the employees get to work at home one day a week, which was a benefit that we had put out there about 18 months ago now. So by the time I came on, it had mostly already been established that people were working from home, which made a decision 3 weeks ago for us to say, hey, just go work from home if you want to. We still had a lot of technical issues and a lot of logistical issues to deal with because there is a difference between working one day from home and working full-time from home. So we made that decision a few weeks ago, but we've been really the last week kind of back on track. I'm kind of looking at today as day one of our new reality. And so we have started to implement things like proactive calls, even talking about some sales and marketing things that we're going to get going here in the next couple of weeks. Because at the end of the day, we know we're going to lose revenue in some areas, especially in commercial lines, personal lines as well, with houses probably not being sold, new cars not being bought. So we know we're going to lose some revenue in some places. So we have to really focus on one of those things that we can do to try to maintain and grow revenue, so that when we do come out the end of this, our business is as healthy as it can be.
Well, and one thing, Dave's agency is actually a beta tester for our new online school. We're hoping to get that out by next week, actually, to everybody. So we've got some beta testers this week. Definitely clients will hopefully get it in their hands the following week, and then out to non-clients the week after that. But just full of tips for renewal reviews, sales training, all the things you need, because Dave, I know I've heard from my clients, and we just caught up for a few minutes, but call volumes are kind of across the board a lot lower.
Yeah.
And so we know we've got people that we want to keep employed and keep working, but if they don't have something to fill that time, it can be really easy to think maybe you need to do a layoff or, really kind of take that time that you now have on your hands to invest in the team.
Yeah, you don't want to look back 3-4 weeks or months from now and say, oh, we should have been doing more proactive work, or we should have been putting up some more marketing materials, or doing more training and education. You don't want to look back and say, we should have been doing this. We should have been doing a better job at supplementing that time that we weren't spending with our clients or weren't spending on reactive calls, so that, again, we're putting our business in that healthy position. Now's the time to do it. We're a couple of weeks into this. We know we've got at least, depending on your state, 4, 5, 6 weeks to go, and that's probably at a minimum. So take the time now to position yourself well, whether it's for this week, next week, or the week after, whenever you feel like you're going to be able to say, okay, this is the new reality, we're going to move forward.
I also think it's such a great time to remember that the whole agency is a team. So really, I firmly believe that this is the account manager, service team members' opportunity to shine, to have those conversations with clients, to cross-sell where appropriate, to help the client, to generate referrals for the sales team. Like, we know that we're feeling it, that new business volume is lower, and stuff that's out there now is kind of funneling through the pipeline. So we do hear it's kind of a rush, but we also know that I think everybody wants to get a good paycheck this month. So then it's going to get a little quieter. And so we're really trying to rally the troops and say service and sales are part of one agency, one family, and we all need to help each other right now.
And I think this is a good opportunity for agencies that have not been making any kind of proactive phone calls to implement this within the agency, because not only is the volume down and you have a little bit more time on your hands, but you can implement this a little softer than what might be a traditional approach. So you can reduce that focus on cross-selling and on increasing coverage for those clients that don't want to have that discussion. What we're finding is that people are very open to that discussion now, because there are some people that are just stuck at home And if
Right.
I'm stuck at home and I'm like, yeah, I've had my accounts with two different people for, 10 years just because I haven't wanted to deal with it. Sure, let me pull out my policy. Let me get another quote from you. Maybe I'll wrap it together. Great opportunity for those people, even though a lot of our carriers are forgiving or pushing off payments or not sending cancellations. Still a great opportunity for those people who want to reduce their premiums to look at the deductibles and the discounts and the bill pays and all of that stuff, including the account round, and really focus on, packaging that account like we always have, but just obviously doing it in a tasteful way and really focusing on those clients that want to have the discussion and keeping the other discussion for more light. We're still here. This is our point. We're still here. We're working from home. Do you need anything from us at this time? Honestly, what we're finding is these are really short phone calls for the most part, and people are just grateful and thankful to hear from us.
Well, I did a training today, and we were talking a little bit about the need to generate some referrals, right? And I agree with you 100%. And the line, and it's in our blog script from yesterday. So if anybody didn't get our blast yesterday, there's a whole series of scripts on how to deal with COVID-19 on some inbound calls. But just, I think that the heart of the insurance agent is always we want to help, and we can help as many people as possible. So even on calls, you can say, hey, listen, if you know anyone that needs help right now, whether it be with their insurance or anything that we can help with, we want to help them. Please have them call us. Like that is I hate to say it, but that's a way to get referrals, number one. But it also honors the idea that we're here to help. And that's really what we're trying to do. But sometimes we need to tell people we are here to help and that we're open for business.
Yeah, it's not much different from the messaging you'd have anyway, right? Where people sometimes don't understand that you're open to referrals or that is helpful to you. So sometimes you just have to tell them we're here to help, whether it's you, your neighbor, your friend, your cousin, whoever it is. Please have them call me or give me their information and I'll call them. And really, what we're trying to do is just take this opportunity to build that relationship or establish that relationship. I know account managers have been there for 30, 40 years. They know every client. Well, just call that person and just make sure that they know you care. Other account managers might have just started their job a month or two ago. So you got a whole list of people that you can call and introduce yourself to. So I think it's a great opportunity right now to make those relationships.
Which kind of leads us to the main topic of today's 3-minute video, which will probably go over 3 minutes, but it's all right. That was always
We
like
tend to do that.
That was just an estimate. One of the fears that we have coming out of being more proactive during this time is like, oh, well, I'm going to get on the phone and I'm not going to be able to get off the phone. And, in some instances, people have a little bit more time on their hands. And so they want to have more of a leisurely chat, more of a coffee cup conversation, I like to call it. And so we're really trying to teach people right now that, 60 seconds of COVID comments or 60 seconds of Corona comments is really all your phone call should have. You want to check in, make sure people are doing well and everything else. But at that 60-second mark, you really need to say, let's go over your options and convert it. Because my fear, Dave, is if people have a 5-minute call and 4 minutes of it is about the virus and everything going on, one, psychologically, we're all going to want to bat our head against the wall. Mm-hmm. And two, the purpose of the call gets overshown by current events. And I was just curious what your take on that is.
Yeah, I agree with both of those points, especially I think for your own self-help. You don't need to have the same conversation, whether it's on a proactive call or an inbound call. Let's say you're taking 20 calls a day. You don't want to spend 5 minutes 20 times a day just kind of rehashing that whole thing. And then I also think that the problem with that is that then you fall into this trap where the client isn't going to remember your conversation or distinguish your discussion from the other 20 people who they interacted with on the phone or online and had similar discussions with. So I think you're probably going to need to have some conversation because everybody you feel the need to acknowledge it. But I agree, 60 seconds after that, you really got to get out, focus on the conversation for your own mental health, and really to stand out. This is our opportunity as account managers to shine and as agencies to shine. So let's focus on where we can help. Kelly, I'm going to steal your line because I liked it and I wrote it down. We can't help with the coronavirus situation. right? So there's no sense in spending that much time on that. Let's focus on the areas where we can help and, work with them on whether it's their payments, their coverages, their policies, whatever it might be.
And I think, like I always say, we're not going to solve the coronavirus, right? So like, it's not ours to solve. Our job, our role in this is to provide options to clients. So honor your role and stick to your role in the solution. Okay.
Right.
Unless you are a scientist and you top secretly have the virus's cure and you're withholding it, that's a different story. And you probably need to call somebody. But here's the other thing I get a little nervous about if we let the conversation go on too long. Psychologically, we start thinking everybody has no money, everybody's financially impacted. There's no one that's going to want to buy another line of coverage. There's no one that's going to want to improve it. And I think that that's really dangerous because during times of crisis, there's the bucket that is really impacted, call it 20%. There's us who's all working from home and adopting a new normal. And then there's the people up here that when this stuff happens, they want to bump their coverages up high because if something scary happens, they just want to know it's all squared away. But all of our time is spent down here on this 20%, and we start telling ourselves that story. Does that make sense, Dave?
It does. And again, as we establish this is our new normal, people are going to become more comfortable with the fact that we're going to have a discussion that's not on coronavirus, and we still have to deal with banking issues and insurance issues and, just day-to-day life. So I think that's why I really I've reset this today as day one in my world to say, okay, what would we do if this was a normal environment now that people are a little bit more comfortable with where we are? And if you're still a little bit behind on the technology and you're still kind of establishing some of this work at home stuff, focus your time on that, but just establish at what point you're going to start to have these discussions with your staff or with your clients on getting back to that normal routine a little bit more.
I love it. And Dave, I thank you for hopping on. Just a little foreshadow to the some of the topics that we're going to have down the pike. We are going to do a whole 3-minute video on things people can fill their time with. So if maybe you're already doing renewal reviews or something else is going on, there's going to be a whole topic on that. We're going to do one on fear too, because, a lot of times we're living in a state of fear right now. And what happens when we're in fear is we don't feel options. And that's one of your keys to success with your clients is going to be providing options. So in the state of fear, that's something to think about. And on Friday, we're going to do one about clients who are calling in that want to drop their coverage altogether and how to handle that. So I really encourage you guys to stay tuned. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of the funny stuff. I know Dave emailed me today, and I think you probably spent a half hour on the Facebook group with the memes.
Yeah, there's some good ones in there.
So if anybody has anything they want to add, just email me, respond to the email. We're happy to go ahead and put any content together that you feel is relevant for you, because if it's relevant for you, it is for everybody else. So Dave, I can't say thank you enough. Maybe I will send you those wine glasses that you got me on Facebook after this. But
anytime, Cal. It was a pleasure.
Thank you guys so much.
Bye, everyone.